All right. Just down. Mic check, mic check. Okay, it's working. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the weekly stream here. Hope you guys had a great week so far. Ending the week off right on this Friday here. Thanks for tuning in. If you're in the chat on Twitch, YouTube, and what else are we on? Thank you guys for tuning in. We got another build for y'all today. Actually, it's another customer's build. Or is this a customer's build? I'm not sure. But we're doing the LCD fans nonetheless, finally. So we got those bad boys right here. It's going to go into this Y40. So we're going to have like two on the side there and then one on the back. Three of them on the radiator will have the regular infinity fans. Because you can't really see those anyways. I guess if you were like sitting at your desk in a certain way, looking up kind of towards the case, you'll be able to see those, but yeah, it's not really worth it, I guess, for lack of a better word, to put those LCD fans up there, but we'll put them where they're visible. So yeah, we're gonna do two in the back there, one on the back side here, and hopefully I can show off a little bit of different graphics there. I think it defaults on like the Lee graphic, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this build's pretty standard. It's a 4070 Super, and I think 5800 or 5600X. Not bad. So let's get started here. Let me move some of these to the side. 4070 Super from Asus. I guess it's just like, it's not tough, it's not ROG, it's just like Asus's regular schmegular. Their regular gaming, it's not even Prime, because I don't think they do Prime for their graphics cards. That's just for their motherboards. I think it's called Dual. Yeah, the Dual series. We'll get to that. I'll talk about that more when I get to that one. We got a B550M Pro 4. So this is kind of the same motherboard that we put into, or it is the same motherboard that we put into our Apollos. So you guys saw me build that on Wednesday. If you tuned in on Wednesday, we did a random one-off little midweek stream there because that customer had requested to do their stream. They're built on a stream, and then I was like, okay, we can fit it in on the Wednesday because I've been promising to do these LCD fans on a Friday, and I didn't want to skip out on them once again. So we will do those today. But yeah, we did this motherboard on Wednesday, so motherboard gets featured twice this week. Great motherboard from AsRock, B550M Pro 4, so it's an MATX board. So still like kind of widely full size, but they shortened it down. It's kind of like a perfect square in a way, which is cool. And they got awesome RAM here. They got the Trident Z Royals from G-Skill. So this is DDR4, obviously the 5000 series AM4 AMD chipset, CPUs, processors. Those only use DDR4, right? And G-Skill is yet to come out with their Royal brand lineup here for DDR5 for the new Ryzen CPUs, the 7000 series and now the 8000 series coming out, and also the Intel CPUs that use DDR5. But I think they're coming out with them soon. I know that they're technically announced in a way. I see a lot of the publications, like, you know, magazines and stuff, like PC publications, stuff like that, talking about that. So we'll see exactly when those are going to get released, but they will be released for DDR5. Nonetheless, really beautiful RAM, some Trident Z Royal little microfiber cloth you get in there. You get a sticker and stuff. Pretty cool. It has like some protective film on it too. So let me just install. We'll do the CPU first actually, and I'll get back to those. So AMD Ryzen 5 5600X. This was also featured on Wednesday as well. So pretty similar setup here. Pop that bad boy in there. Get a little sticker with that too. So I do include all the little doodads in for the customer. Whenever they purchase something, I will give them the stickers and all the extra screws and stuff. Although we do offer warranty and tech support, never know, they might need that stuff to do their own little repairs. Let me just pop in this NVMe as well here while I'm at it, and then we'll finally get to that RAM. So we got 1 terabyte Kingston, just their standard. It's not Fury or anything like that. Gen 4, 1 terabyte, pretty cool. 3,500 megabytes. What is that? Read speed, not write speed, right? 3,500 megabytes. Read speed, I think.
Read speed, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be too fast for write. Or too slow. I don't know. Been a long day for me. Anyways, get that little heat sink on there. Yeah. So yeah, back to this RAM here. Really cool, beautiful RAM. It's like a little crystal diamond little aesthetic there. Crunch that in, and then I'll peel the 2 sides. That way I don't get my crummy fingerprints all over it. Finger oil. Also get that side. Peel that as well. I think that's why they give you the microfiber cloth, besides it being really cool. So you can wipe down the RAM. So it's such pretty RAM. Okay, and we're gonna do an AIO today. So we got a, as I said, deep cool, it's a VRLA deep cool AIO here, 360. We'll pop that on the top. I'll do that after I get the motherboard in the case. I think that is a better strategy than putting it on now. Actually, I will though put the kit on at least, the motherboard here. So let me start off with that, just so I have that ready and I don't have to mess with the back plate and stuff. I'm sure you guys had fun seeing me do that before on stream. Messing with back plates, so I forgot to put them on. All right. We'll take off these screws. So we haven't done 2 streams in a week ever since that whole week where we were just building on stream, and then we did the build-a-thon to get all off on that Friday. So it's pretty cool. It felt like a little nostalgic. Even though it was that far, even though it wasn't that far ago or long ago. I was like, man, we're doing 2 streams in 1 week. But next week, you never know what could happen. I guess if somebody requests and we promise something else on a Friday, we'll just, end up doing another stream, multiple streams a week. If not, we'll do it for the Friday. It just depends on how everything falls into place. But usually, I think we'll just go back to the regular Friday stuff. We'll see. All right. So got these little screws back there that hold on the back plate that comes with the motherboard already. So all the AM4, AM5 motherboards have this little black back plate here. Just took off their regular mounting kit that they have there and put these screws on that will go with the AIO. That mounting kit comes with the AIO, so we'll get that situated pretty soon. Just wanted to start off the first little part of it before I put the motherboard into the case here. Yeah, let me take off these panels here. So awesome case, Y40 from Height. Pretty cool case here. It's kind of like the mini version of the Y60 or the Y70, right? More squared off, right? It's like a perfect little rectangular thing going on here. It doesn't have that slanted glass here where you see the LCD screen on the Y70 or just that glass there for the Y60. Pretty awesome though. And you do get one fan that goes on the bottom, 2 fans up here, 3 fans on the top, 1 fan here, but sometimes you can't really get a fan here if the radiator on top is kind of interfering with it. So let's see if I could get that done today. I like the foam they include with it, so this little riser cable doesn't break. Awesome. Good idea, good thinking from Height there. They also include that on their Y60 and Y70 because all these cases come with a riser cable, so you get that vertical mount. Pretty cool that they do that. I think since graphics cards have a little bit of a little bit. They have a lot actually nowadays. RGB and all this stuff. You kind of want to show off your graphics card, right? So that vertical mount really helps out with that. Obviously, it shows off your whole graphics card. So it's cool that Height just makes that a standard in their designs of their cases. Pretty cool stuff. So I'm just taking off all the little shipping stuff that comes out. You get a little box of screws. You even get like a little splitter for an audio jack, 3.5mm audio jack there. You get 2 standard fans. So yeah, I'm just doing the little maintenance here. Whatever you want. What's the word I'm looking for? Situating it so I can start building in it. We'll take out these stock fans and I'll pop that motherboard in. Where is my drill? Right here. Cool. Oh. I was supposed to catch that. I'll reuse those screws. They're pretty good screws that come with this case, so I'll reuse those. There. Let's get this fan out. So you only get 1 fan on the bottom. On the Y60, you get 2, and then Y70 you get 3, if I'm remembering correctly. Little dust filter there. So you get a dust filter for both the fan and the fan that's on the power supply, because the power supply will live down there. So this is kind of going back to the Y60 and the Y70 are dual chamber cases. With this Y40, it's kind of going back to the like original traditional way of PC cases, and building your power supply will live back on the bottom here instead of like on the side here with the dual chamber cases. In a way, this is kind of weird. It's kind of like a hybrid, kind of like that Corsair 5000 case. So the Corsair 5000 case kind of had this deal here too, where you get the dual chamber little fan set up here, where you get to have these 2 or 3 fans here. Like the 5000 has 3 fans here, but it still has those front fans. And it has like that chamber in the front. Same thing with this case here, but then they both have the original area where you would put the power supply. So cool cool little hybrid here that Height did with this Y40. Might as well pop in a fan down here while I'm at it. So I took off that stock fan. I'll pop in one of these infinity fans. So the RGB does shine through a little bit, even though it's living on the bottom here. It does shine through a little bit from the bottom of the case. So it's not a total waste of having a fan like this there. So we'll put this for intake. Obviously, from the bottom, you want the cold air coming in from the bottom. Hot air rises naturally, so you want that exhaust on the top. Let me get this fan in here. All right. Shadow, I didn't see your chat until now, actually. Oh, I did actually see you. Come on, start the stream. Sorry for the little delay there. But, sorry for addressing you so late. I just wanted to get started on this build, but yeah. Thanks for stopping in here, Shadow. Okay, let's get this motherboard in here. That's what we should do next. The way I usually tend to build is like, I always think about, I want to clear my desk of stuff. So I try to just kind of process of elimination, try to clear as much as I can. To clear my desk up. So sometimes, for me at least, you know, when I'm not on stream building, it's easier for me that way. But then like on stream, I try to remember like, no, I should take a different step because kind of got to remember there's viewers, you know, and you got to like kind of make it exciting, I guess, in a way that makes sense. Let's change some standoffs here. All right. Actually, me, 1, 2. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot, so I'll put it over here. So this comes standard for like a ATX motherboard, right? They have these standoff kind of setup for that. I'm just gonna change it for the MATX setup instead. Okay. Move. You get one little extra one here, and I think they give you more in the little box that comes with the screws and stuff too. So, yeah, I think that's set up correctly. Let me get those screws out too here. Oh yeah. So I like to give you a little bag, so that way you can keep screws, because some manufacturers just give you this little bag where you have to tear and then you can't keep the screws really neatly set up afterwards. So cool on them for doing that. I mean, it's not as cool as the Lee though, where they give you a whole little organizer box. Okay, so we'll pop this IO shield in here. Again, I think I mentioned this one on Wednesday. It has like a little cushion on it to keep some of the airflow in and out. So these riser cables are pretty delicate. I don't want to. Sometimes these I don't want to bend this riser cable all the way, but it's kind of getting in my way. But sometimes these IO shields kind of, the way they're manufactured is they bend in a certain way to try to pop into the pins there. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get all corners in and all sides in. There we go. Oh. Boom. After doing it for a while, you kind of get used to it. Do it. Okay, let's get that motherboard in there. And again, this motherboard has like that little protruding standoff to kind of catch on to the motherboard there. So good. I like when the case manufacturers do that. It helps with the building process a lot. It makes it a lot easier. Sometimes I even am able to I could use a screwdriver for this. Sometimes I'm able even to use a standing up, put the motherboard in while the case is standing up instead of laying flat like this. Now, I wouldn't recommend that if you're doing it at home or something. I'm used to it, and I can kind of like hold it up against the wall there too. But that screw does help me with that too, the standoff screw. Okay. Get these screws in. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. Won't be needing these screws anymore. Now I'll get this riser cable in after I'm done plugging everything else in, so we won't plug that in yet. We'll do some of the front I/O now. So that riser cable kind of gets in the way if you plug it in early, so you kind of want to strategically do things here. We'll plug in the front panel, front I/O here, the start button, reset button, all that good stuff. Boom. And then we'll get the USB 3.0. And then HD audio. Boom. All right. Looking good. Okay. Got those in. I do need a couple controllers here now that are going to go USB 2.0. I should plug those in before kind of starting to do cable management. Before we do that, let's try to get this fans in here, if anything, and then we'll go back to plugging in the controllers. So we'll do, what will we do actually? We'll do... We will do the long-awaited LCD fans. Bam. So mainly always pushing the limit. I feel like they're always the ones to kind of innovate here in the PC enthusiast building scene here. They always do, like, you know, the crazy stuff. They did the streamers. They're the ones that kind of pushed the pushed on the dual chamber case setup kind of thing, the 011 dynamic, right? One of the most iconic cases now. Everybody's seen them, everybody wants them, everybody's used them. And they always push, like we've seen the Vision case now, the Evo RGB case. I mean, they're always pushing the extreme, right? When it comes to innovating in this kind of scene, this setup here, which is really cool for them to do so. And these fans do not disappoint, right? They keep that kind of reputation going for Lee. Beautiful fans, right? So it's going to be kind of looks very similar to the Infinity fans, very similar, a little bit wider, right? A little bit thicker. So the fan blades there are probably slightly thicker. I mean, I think it's not just the frame, the actual fan blades there are thicker, and you get more blades, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Those are wider.
79.
White.
So only 7 blades here, 9 blades here. So these are going to push a lot more air, and these already pushed a lot of air. And yeah, the blades are white, so the blades won't be lit up as RGB like the blades on the Infinity fans, and you don't get that little infinity window there in the front, right? But you get an LCD screen, which is absolutely crazy. And then you still get the infinity little mirror setup like kind of the Infinity fans have there on the side anyway. So you still kind of get that infinity look there. LCD fan, you could even put like an infinity look into the screen if you wanted to. And they have like little covers for the screws, right? So now you can cover up those ugly screws. So, you know, these will actually look good in one of those Project Zero builds, because you get to cover up all the little ugliness that you don't really get to usually do. And then same thing, these don't use that much wire, right? So you connect them all together and then use one wire. Boom, that's it. That's all you need there. And the controller runs off of like a 6-pin, I believe. Let's pop that out there. Yeah. So the controller runs off of a 6-pin power connector from the motherboard right here. So PCIe 6-pin power connector from the power supply, not the motherboard. And then basically what they always have been doing with their controllers too, you get a fan power header and an RGB power header, so that way you can control software from the motherboard as well, and then USB 2.0 for software and stuff there too. So awesome little controller, and just easy one little wire from the fans to the controller. The controller lives in the back. So yeah, this is pretty cool. It would go really well in a Project Zero build like that. We did we did that one last Friday, not Wednesday. But yeah, so let's get back to it. We'll do those 3 fans on this radiator. We'll put 2 fans. So we'll connect 2 fans actually on this wall here, and then 1 fan on the back, sauced with the radiator. And just like the Infinity fans, they just link together like so. There's some pins. So there's a I guess female and then male pin set up there. There's a pad and then the pins. So the pins and then these little key lock little things where the fans actually lock into each other, and that's how they work. That's how most of the you know, fans like these that are linked together kind of work like that. Like Corsairs, they have like a different little thing where it's like those magnetic things I've showed before on the stream here. So it's not so different, pretty similar. And I like how Lee includes all the little protection for your little glass. And we'll put those back here. And we'll get those screwed in. Actually, I can flip. We should put some of these little fan covers, because you won't need the fans from the front. You only need them in the back. So We'll do that. Cover up the front ones. And we'll take off the back ones. We're going to need to screw into those. Cool, a little setup. And they're easy to take out. Just, there's like a little slot here for your finger nail or whatever you want to get in there. Boom. Oh, right now I can screw them in. Really that easy. I mean, it's a traditional, you know, you can't really get away from the standard, right? There's always going to be some screws involved. Like, it's going to be pretty simple, like basically building a PC like if you ever have, right? It's just going to be pretty normal situation here that you've probably dealt with before, right? It's just a little newer, a little different, but nothing too major. Okay. 3, 4. Cool, we got all those screws in. And then we'll move to the back here. All those look sick. I can see them on the little cam here. Awesome. And we'll remove the little screw covers here on this one on the back side here too. And you can remove these little key latch things. You just twist them and take them off. I'll leave them on. I mean, just in case somebody wanted to switch them out or just keep them on there. If not, I'll leave them in the extra parts bag anyways, just in case for future use. Right. Now, hopefully this doesn't get in the way of the AIO. Put it as down as I can, not to interrupt with the AIO. I don't think it will. Actually, it'll be pretty perfect. It'll kind of fit just right. Right. It's coming together pretty well here. Can't wait to get those screens to light up. And you get a little magnetic pad for the controller. We'll just stick that on the controller. I don't know exactly where I'm going to put the controller right now in my head, but probably just on the bottom. Plug in the rest of the I/O port though. Can you get me a controller for the Infinity Fans?
Yeah.
Thank you. I do need the other controller because you cannot share the controllers for the different fans. If you wanted to do so, you can get the other TL fans, right? So the Infinity fans are the Infinity like Uni fans. I forget the exact name of them, but they use a different controller than the LCD fans. But the LCD fans do have like a non-LCD version of the fans that are just standard. They do have like the mirror on the side, but they don't have the mirror in the front like the Infinity fans. So you can't share those controllers, but with the other two different variants of the LCD fans, or I think they call TL fans, those can use the same controller, but then you miss out on the cool little mirror here. So you're gonna have to like, get two controllers for that, which that will take up two USB 2.0s. But it's still doable, can be done. And if you didn't want to have so many controllers on your build, you can just go ahead and opt out of that, right, and just get the matching fans. Or the TL fans, right? They won't all be LCD. You'll only be using LCD on where you could actually see the face of the fan. So the rest of those, you use the other TL fans. But it's a very similar controller, right? Almost looks exactly the same, actually. So it can be a little bit confusing if you don't know what you're doing. Boxes here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put them on the bottom part because that's where all the space is really for a case like this. You get all the space on the bottom. You still get a little bit of space on the backside like a dual chamber case, but most of it's still on the bottom like the traditional cases. So in that aspect of a case like this, it still is more traditional than it is dual chamber. It has kind of best of both worlds in a way. We're just gonna get the rest of this plugged into the headers, another USB 2.0, another RGB and fan header. Actually, I think I could do without the RGB and fan header on this. We'll see. So we'll plug in the USB 2.0, and then this controller will not run off of SATA instead of a PCIe 6-pin power connector. So it'll run off of SATA power, which is different from than these LCD fans, right? I think that's really, they need more juice, so that's why they created a whole different controller for these fans. They just needed a lot more juice, right? They needed a lot more power, so they had to innovate there and come up with something new. Oh, did I flip that? So the connector here is pretty much the same though as the Infinity fans. They kind of flip back and forth however you need them to, and then they kind of just lock in to the fans there like so. And those are locked in now, and then just straight to the controller. So I'll demonstrate that in a sec here. Okay, let's do the radiator before I start doing the cable management and stuff. So we're gonna put the 3 Infinity fans on here. Just clean these up. Take all the little protective stuff off of there. Kind of like those G-Skill RAM there. A lot of the time when you get like these nicer, higher end products, they do put a lot of the protective stuff on there. They don't want you to spend all that money and then ruin it, right? So that way. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put the connector through. So this will loop that way. So we'll put the connector on this side. Cool. Get some screws. All right. This actually turned together pretty quickly, pretty easily here. this out of the way too. Pop these screws in on. Actually, hope you guys don't mind me sitting down. No? Can I sit down? Cool. Oh, the camera turned off. Yeah, overhead's fine for this part here anyways. Sorry about the camera going out, y'all. But you got me on the top side here. I'm working on these the AIO here anyways. We will get Marie-Chan, come on in. Sorry about the front camera is expected to go out on us, so it's not really a technical difficulty anymore. It just runs out of battery. You gotta swap the battery out. We are working on kind of getting a different setup for that. We're using like this 4K photography camera and using it for recording. It's not really meant for that, so that's why it dies quickly. And we got Marie-Chan here. Gotta change the battery out for us. Sorry for that, y'all. Alright, we got all screwed in though, right? We'll just double check. Yeah. Seems like they're. Make sure that they're torqued enough there. Yeah, that's perfect. Alright. Let's screw on the side here. And get it on the top part of the case here. Well, this case is a slightly compact. Well, the case is definitely smaller than the Y60 and the Y70, so it's definitely more compact, right? So we want to kind of maneuver things the way that we need to really get it in there correctly. So sometimes it might take a little bit of a. Oh, thank you, Marie-Chan, for changing the battery there. We got the camera back on. We're back on?
Yeah.
What's up, brothers? Now we'll just get this loaded in here. Again, I was just mentioning how it's kind of tight in here, so sometimes it's hard to really get it maneuvered in there. Kind of gotta play around with the space that you've got. This is why sometimes I don't want to include the back fan here. So I'm gonna have to take off the back fan and then put this in. It's kind of weird that way, but it's so compact so that you kind of have to maneuver everything or do kind of like a order of operations here to really get the desired little what you need to do there, right? So desired setup. We'll actually take that back fan off, and then take off this. There we are. Okay. Now we got some room to play with. This should slide in super easily now. Boom. And then we could get that back fan on there back on there, right? So no big deal. Just kind of like that. Really, nothing's worse than that Air Mini that I did on stream, right? That was just a disaster when it came to like the order of operations. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I could have mapped it out better in my mind before I started screwing everything in and doing all that cable management. And I had to go reverse some things here. It was just that one little fan there, a couple screws, wasn't too much of a biggie. All right, so then now we just get the rest of these screws in, get this mounted on, get that top panel back on there, and then get that back fan on there. It's pretty easy. But yeah, that's what, when it comes down to building, there's a lot of order of operations here that you gotta kind of pay attention to. So it's always good to map it out in your mind or write it down, right? Or follow a video or something. Do anything that helps you. And then when you do it for a while, you start just gaining that experience. But you never know. You can have all the tons of experience and still make a mistake. It's definitely harder when you're doing it on stream too. So y'all gotta cut me a little slack. Cut me a little slack. A little tiny bit of slack. All right. All these screws in. Now let's tighten them up. I actually wanna. That's all the space I got to play with, actually. So I'll push it forward as much as I can, just so I can get space for that back fan. And then tighten all these down. All right. And we could just mount this this pump onto the CPU now, just to get that out of the way too. So let's do that now, and then we'll put that back fan back on there. So you'd think you want to do like, you know, motherboard, and then, you know, put the motherboard in the case, and then put the fans onto the case, and then, you know, usually that's how it goes, right? You know, there is those order of operation, but it will change a little bit depending on what case you're using, depending on what components you're using. So it's not always that simple. Like in this case, right, I should have done motherboard in the case, couple fans, AIO, then back to fans, right? It wasn't just all fans at once like I was thinking. And I'll just put this mounting kit on here. That was pretty easy. Get this mounting kit on here. I have my armpit's basically my third hand. Whichever way you're used to kind of just doing it. Oh, touch the paste a little bit. That shouldn't be that bad. Can you get me a napkin?
Napkin?
Yeah. Ish. No. Paper towel.
Yeah.
Tighten these screws down. And this, you know, already comes pre-thermal pasted, pre-pasted, right? So that's perfect square for the AM5 setup here. So. Well, this is one of the hardest parts. I'll probably have to do this part laying it down. Shoot. Grab that. Just lay it down there. Like so. This will make it way easier. Boom. Thank you for the napkin. Paper towels here. Now I do have to push up on the back plate a little bit because gravity is kind of working against me here. There we are. If I could just get one in, I could get the rest of them in. So, I actually need to leverage it for 2 on this one here, so do so. Let me trusty screwdriver give me a little bit more length here, a little more extension. With this one. Usually I like to go diagonal. That is the standard, ideal, recommended way. Boom. And now gravity won't be working against me anymore. And we'll get that last one in there too. Y'all can see that. Oh, what is that last one? Did I lose it? I lost it. But I do have an extra. All good. So, put that one back in. I'm gonna change the cap. Okay.
Yeah.
Bam. So now we got that mounted on there. We can finally get that other LCD fan mounted there once again. Hopefully that AIO is still not in the way though. Let's see here. And it's actually just barely fits. Just barely perfectly fits there. Wouldn't have any more space, so sometimes you have to compromise on having that fan there on certain cases or certain builds. I know like Lee, they allow you to shift your this back plate down, so you can shift the whole motherboard down, and that really helps out actually with the AIO not getting in the way of that back fan there. We saw that with the Vision case, so you can actually shift it down and fit 2 fans back here. That's how much Lee really innovated on that. And again, can't shout them out enough. They always are innovating greatly on cases and fans and all the little stuff that comes in this enthusiast kind of PC building scene industry. Okay, so now we will. I do actually need. Can you get me the infinity connector from the fans to the hub? Like one of these?
Oh yeah.
Just the infinity one, yeah. So I will need that infinity one for this hub here. That hub could kind of just live there. And then this hub actually will put. You can't stack them, although instead of stuffing them on the bottom like I was, I probably could just take this plate off here. We won't be using any hard drive or anything like that, or you know, a SATA SSD. We'll just put the hubs here, if anything, and those can live there pretty perfectly. Zip tie them together there, like so. Actually works out pretty well.
This one, right?
Yeah. Maybe. Okay, so we just forgot to put this on for the. This is what I was just talking about with the order of operations. I might have to undo some of my work here, but that's no biggie for me. We'll get these out of the way, and we'll put some zip ties actually for these here, just to get these out of the way too. So we'll do some cable management first, and we'll go back to doing different cable management. So you want to kind of just want to get those out of the way. Force them back there. You can do that loop that I just did there too. Put a zip tie. Okay, so I didn't see y'all talking in the chat there. Yeah, it's a height Y40. So this is like the smallest case that. Actually, it's not the smallest case that Height offers. They actually offer the Revolt 3. So we did that poll a while ago on stream where I had like those 4 little mini builds, ITX builds really set up, and you guys chose the Fractal Terra, case for me to build in. So that's the one we built in on that stream. But that same stream, one of the options was the Revolt 3, which is Height's smallest case, right? So I think this one will be second in line to that case when it comes to how small a case is. So that was like an ITX case, that Revolt 3. This one you can fit ATX motherboard in here. So, but yeah, out of like the main lineup, the tower lineup here, this is going to be the smallest out of the Y60 and the Y70 for sure. But yeah, this is the Height Y40. Pretty awesome case. It's kind of a hybrid dual chamber and like traditional type of case, right, where you get the power supply down here like the traditional cases, but you still get these back fans here, kind of like a dual chamber case. So kind of like a hybrid type of deal here. Yeah, if you want to yeah, pretty similar to some other cases that are on the market out there for sure. In a way, I felt kind of like it was like there was another older Lian Li case that kind of did this thing too. It was like a downsized 011 in a way. That's what it reminded me of. But yeah, you got a 120 AIO. I mean, that's gonna be good for maybe like mounting it on the back side where the VRMs are at. Maybe double stack that, you know, sandwich it in between 2 fans, the radiator there, and then put the pump on the CPU, obviously. But yeah, 120 is not bad if you're gonna upgrade, depending on the case you got, 240 or 360, right? Depending on the CPU you have too, you know. So you don't have to go so big if you don't have the, you know, the most powerful CPU, which, I mean, those i9s, those are just crazy. Like, not even 360s are cooling those CPUs properly. Alright, let's go back to the build here though. So we'll probably go that way with it. Not too happy with that. Maybe we'll see what I do with that. I do need to get this. Do I have these come? Wonder. I do need one more cable. Let's see if this comes with an extra cable, because I do need one more cable for this fan, and then I need to access these fans too to put the cables there. Hopefully I don't have to take off this back fan once more. We'll see how I can deal with that. Oh yeah, it does come with extra cable, so we'll use that cable there. I have a lot of extra LCD fans now, so we'll use that cable for this LCD fan here. Oh, interesting. So the I will have to take it off actually, but that's weird. So Lian had like their name on the back of the fan, the company name there, and when you put it upright, the connector is actually on the side. Usually it would be on the top or bottom. So that's interesting that Lian decided to have the connector on the side, even though their name is upright this way, the connector's on the sides. Usually when the name was upright, the connectors would be either top or bottom, like with the Infinity fans. So I mean, the back, you can't really even see it anyways. The point of these fans is to have the LCD pointing out, right, facing out to wherever the owner or the viewer, right, is going to see the screens anyways. So it doesn't really matter what orientation that back logo is on there anyways. But interesting, I just barely noticed that, so I have to take that out anyways. And while I do have that out, I'll just put this cable here too. Kill two birds with one stone. Again, order of operations. I should have mapped this out more clearly before I got screwed into AIO to the top of the case there, but no biggie. I do have enough space here, I think, for my fingers to fit in anyways. Just barely. All right, there we are. Bit of a struggle, but not that bad. Cool, and we'll get that to the back side to that controller there. And then this, we will actually orientate it like that, so we'll have that coming off the top there too. Okay, we're gonna have to flip this. I do like the Infinity version of this little like cable management thing they added to it. I like the Infinity, the older one, better. This one's like still showing the wire a little bit. It's ugly. The Infinity ones hide that wire, but it's not that big of a deal. It won't be that visible anyways. Boom. Then we'll feed this wire back here too. All right. That's screwed in. That makes sense. That lines up. All right. Where did my other screw go? Got one right here anyways. Okay. Looking good. Very compact, right? But still looking very, very good. The cool thing about this Deepcool AIO here too, it plugs into that Lian controller. Or cool thing about the Lian controller, really, they added some of the. There's not really an industry standard when it comes to like the RGB headers here. A lot of different companies use their own little proprietary RGB headers or connectors, and I guess the only standard is the ones that are used on the motherboard, the 3-pin 5-volt, right? And some fans, some manufacturers just opted to put those connectors on the fans themselves, and then you start seeing a lot of this connector here, which this is kind of a standard one too, but the controllers don't really have those connectors. So it's cool by Lian to include a little spot for that connector there for their controllers, at least, and make it a little bit easier on the enthusiast, so they don't have to keep plugging everything in all over the place. Nonetheless, I think I'm still going to plug that into the motherboard. We'll see. I think I'll plug it into the controller. I don't think it'll reach, but I can make a little extension. Hide this cable here too. Spot behind my rear I/O. A rear I/O and heatsink that. Perfect. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm doing here. I just hid the fan wire behind that VRM heatsink there too. So crazy that you just mentioned that. That's exactly what I just did with this build. No shame in doing that, right? I mean, it's there, so might as well use it to your disposal. No shame in doing that at all. And it looks pretty neat. It looks perfect. I think, honestly, like, it's a standard thing I've seen a lot of builders do, actually. So, really nothing to be ashamed of. Those there. I think I'm just bunch these up. Zip tie them there. So it's going to be like quick cable management, nothing too pretty. I want to get these fans lit up for you guys. Just put those there. Put that. We'll probably zip this all together here too. So, I believe that. Yeah, we'll zip all this together here too because it's getting all over the place. But yeah, on this case, you do actually have a lot of space for zip tying stuff and, you know, mounting back here on this wall, kind of like a dual chamber case. And if you had to, right, you still have all that space on the bottom. So great case for cable management, definitely. You could even have a little spot here too. So just have this attached to that back wall instead of relying on those sticky pads on the back of here too. These are magnetic as well. I didn't take the sticky pads off because I'm not permanent. I'm not permanent with these spots that I have them at. So once I get like a permanent spot for them, then I'll take those sticky pads off and actually stick them. This is all just temporary right now. All right, cool. So we got the fan set up, cable management pretty much done. Let's pop this power supply in now. And I still need to deal with this cable here. I need to get down to it doesn't reach all the way to this little part of the controller where it'll connect into. But I could make a little tiny extension. Don't you get me that line? The one with the 3 pins coming off of it. So, you know, it's like the male one. You know exactly which one I'm talking about. So I'll make a little extension. I don't really recommend doing this. If it didn't reach, you're probably trying to get this controller to reach up here anyways. In a case like this, it probably wouldn't mount anywhere though. I do not recommend mounting it on this back plate. You want those little capacitors to breathe, right? So in that's the only option you got. You could just connect this wire here, right? That it's meant to connect to really, and then go straight to the motherboard with it. Which, you know, that's not bad. You get more options doing that anyway, so you could change the RGB on that separate from changing the fan RGBs. So it's totally it's actually better than plugging into this controller, because when you plug into this controller, now that RGB on the pump is going to be controlled by the software. And I don't usually recommend using more than one software, right? Or more than like two. But I mean, you do get more customization options when you do that. So it's really just like up to personal preference, but definitely wouldn't want to like make an extension like this, right? I'm gonna have one connection there, another connection here, and then finally to the controller. I'm basically making like an extension, and I don't recommend doing that. And had Jerry grab me that other you know the one that goes into like here, and it has this other little piece at the other end. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That one.
You have it in this?
I have like a bag of them behind you there,
Okay.
like a see-through bag. So yeah, would I recommend doing this? I'm just doing it just for the sake of time, and I want to kind of just use the controller anyway. Um, don't know exactly what you're asking, Dubsta, but no, I'm not splitting any fans here. I'm just splitting the RGB, and I'm not really splitting it. I'm just extending it in a way. I don't have any splitters here today. I'm just using these fan controllers, which I like way better than having a bunch of fans that I have to like use splitters and connect and stuff. So controllers are definitely more preferred for me. It just depends on the builder. But yeah, see, so I'm connecting here, one connection here from that pump RGB, and then I could go straight to the motherboard from this, but then I'm putting another connection here to the controller because that initial wire didn't reach. So now I have this crazy little connection thing that I just kind of Frankensteined together. Yeah, don't recommend doing this. This was just because I just want sake of time, and I just wanted the controller to control. I just wanted that RGB to be synced in with the controller. But yeah, definitely wouldn't recommend doing this. And we're just gonna zip that all together here. Just quick little cable management. This is not permanent at all. This is just for the sake of time here on stream. All right, now we got that out of the way. Let's finally do this power supply here. Right, so we got another Kyber 650 watt from XPG 80 plus gold. Really good power supply here. It's not ATX 3.0. I don't even think they make ATX 3.0s with their 650 watt power supply. Still really good power supply. But I think it starts off with their 750 watts, where they make those ATX 3.0s for the higher power consumption cards, right? The 4070 all the way up to the 4090. So this would be perfect for like the 4060. Not modular, still really good power supply. XPG makes some great power supply. Take all this packaging stuff off. Now, in a case like this, you don't necessarily need, it's not like mandatory that you need a modular power supply. Definitely not mandatory. Would I say recommended? Probably, but definitely not mandatory. You can get away with stuffing some cables in the bottom of this case here. Let's take off this little protective sticker. All right, so I will actually just screw it in before I even manage some of those cables. Just get it in there. And then we can manage some of the cables. Yeah, 650 watt, 80 plus gold. You do get some like little stickers with it. They give these little stickers of their avatar and all their power supplies. Pretty cool. And their ATX 3.0 power supplies are actually cybernetic rated too, and they're cybernetic gold. So they get two different ratings. The 80 plus gold is the standard industry standard rating that you'll see what basically every manufacturer use. But cybernetics is actually the newer tests that they're doing on power supplies now, and their 750 watts and up use that rating as well. And they're rated cybernetics gold and 80 plus gold too. So very good power supplies. And even this one's not cybernetics gold, right? But it's still 80 plus gold. Really, really good power supply here. Cannot knock this power supply here. One of the Infinity controller uses 2 SATA powers, right, to power that up. We'll plug those in, which is insane. I think from the start they should have just used the 6-pin power connector with that Infinity controller, but I guess you know, they didn't really need to. They could just get away with the 2 SATA powers. We'll just we'll just zip tie all this together here. And then now with the new LCD connector, they do have the 6-pin power connector from the PCI little cable that comes from the power supply. So now they are using that power connector instead of the SATA. So they got there when they needed to, I guess. They crossed that bridge when they needed to, and I guess they didn't need to right away with the Infinity fans. They waited until they up the power, up the innovation, and then kind of were forced to by the new technology in a way. So get this other cable zipped up. 24 pin there, and this might be a little issue. How can we deal with that? So on the 650 watt, you get only one PCIe power cable.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then use 750 watt.
Let me see if I can do something here. I just want to remind you guys, this cable management is terrible. This is just temporary. Me being quick with it. So don't expect this to be a normal thing. But I think I could. Yeah. I need 650 watt or 750 and up. Anything that comes with 2 PCIe cables. So you don't have to do what I'm about to do. All right. And then we got CPU power up on top. Let's flip that over. Plug that in. 24 pin. Boom. And all this stuff is covering that CPU power header there. So we're going to have to take off the top here. And it's cool that Height did this so you could access the top part here very easily, actually, with all this space here to plug in your CPU power cable. So shout out Height for keeping that in mind. Get enough space to really deal with it pretty well here. So boom, got that plugged in, and then you can zip tie that together there. We got another one just in case you had a motherboard that had 2 CPU power headers. This motherboard only has 1, but you can just zip tie that together back and then onto the case there like that. Let me pop this back on. And let's get the video card in. So then we could plug in this connector. So we got the Asus dual series 4070 Super, 12 gigabytes. This is the OC edition, overclocked edition, so that's already overclocked for the consumer. Pretty cool. You don't have to go through like MSI Afterburner and all that. Actually, Asus have their own version of like MSI Afterburner that you can use if you don't have an OC version of one of their cards. You can use MSI Afterburner, or you can use one of these. Doesn't hurt much. Oh, you know what? We do need a 750 watt for this, actually, in the end. This card uses two 8-pins. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to get me a 750 watt. Thank you. So we're gonna swap out the power supply here. We got the wrong wattage, actually. I thought we were using 4070s instead of 4070 Super. And the 4070s had one 8-pin. The Supers now use two 8-pins. So, but beautiful card. We'll take off all the little scratch resistant stuff here, right? We're gonna put that in the case. So we won't need this anymore for all the shipping damage that could possibly happen. Cool that Asus does take care of their cards like that. Appreciate them for that. There's some on the backside here too. Let's see if I can. There's no really spot to grab it from. I'll try to get it from this corner. $3070 Ti is not bad, man. Still a great card. You could probably use AMD's what is that? Like DLSS. I know the 3000 series card used DLSS 2, now the 4000 series use DLSS 3, but AMD has their own like generative software that's actually open source, so you can use it with your NVIDIA cards. DLSS is not open source for AMD cards, and I've seen people get better use out of their 3000 series cards with that AMD software. So you might want to look into that. That actually might be a good thing to look into for your 3000 series card. 3070 is not bad at all. It's great. It's a great card. But yeah, thank you for the compliments on that. Yeah, the black and white is nice. It looks kind of like a stormtrooper, huh?
This one's modular.
This one's modular. Okay, yeah. So this is the Core Reactor 2. The Core Reactor 2 comes from 750 all the way to 1200, I believe. Great power supply. So you can see this one here is actually cybernetics gold. That's what I was talking about earlier. It's 80 plus gold, cybernetics gold, ATX 3.0. It comes with that 12 volt, 12 plus 4, 16 pin power connector. Like, so all the 4000 series cards are coming with these extensions. You don't need that with a power supply like this. It comes with the wire that is rated up to 600 watts already with the power supply. So you only need to use that adapter cable that comes with the card. Makes it look cleaner, and it's rated for that 600 watts, so it's safer really for your card. I know if you guys seen the when the 4000 series cards came out, they were melting. At least you didn't have to deal with that with your 3070 Ti. Oh wow, that was a journey to go with. I think honestly the 3070 Ti is still better than a 4060, really, and definitely better than a 5700 XT. I actually have one of those at home. I don't use it much. It was from my old build. That was a great card too for the time. But I mean, 3070 Ti, not bad. For 280. I mean, that's basically the cost of a 4060. So yeah, you definitely outperforms it. And I'm telling you, you can get way more performance if you try that AMD software out instead of the NVIDIA DLSS 2. You shouldn't use that AMD. I forget what the AMD software is called. Um, uh, Try to Google it. It's probably on their website. But yeah, it's open source and they're allowing NVIDIA cards to use it. And it's better than DLSS, really, in some cases, in some situations in video games. Uh-oh. Unplug all the work I did. All right. So 650 watts, still really good. Just wasn't what we needed for this case. We use that for our like Apollos now and the 4060 builds. Those still use 1/8 pin. A case like power a GPU like this is gonna need more power, so we're gonna need those 2 8 pins or that 12+4 16 pin power connector there. And yeah, like I was saying, 750 watt core reactor 2 from XPG. So this is what I was talking about earlier when I did mention that other power supplies other than the Kyber. 80 plus gold, cybernetics gold. So it's using those 2 ratings, 2 different tests ran on these power supplies. Great, great power supply. And it's modular. So now we don't have to plug in all those extra ugly wires. Again, on a case like this, it's not mandatory to use modular, but definitely recommended. I'll leave the screws till I use the screws. It's 50 watt. Yeah, try that software out. So we'll use one SATA connector, one CPU. The rest of these we don't need. We'll use one 8 pin. We only use the 6 pin, right? The 6+2. We'll only use the 6 part of that. Then 24 pin and the 12+4 16 pin power connector. So it's 12+4 because the 12 power connectors, those are like where the power is delivered. The other 4 are like sensor pins, so it will sense what power supply do you have, and based on that, it'll pull as much or as little power as it needs for the GPU. So I think it's rated to like 150 watts per 8 pin that would come. So like this GPU comes with that adapter cable, right? The 12+4 16 pin to 2 8 pins. So each 8 pin will pull 150 watts. And those sensors there, the 4 pin sensor cables, those will know like, oh, okay, there's enough power here from the power supply to pull. Originally, that's why we saw a lot of melting on the 4000 series cards when they first came out. The power supplies were not ATX 3.0. Those weren't out yet. Manufacturers had not released those yet. So a lot of people were using the 4000 series cards on their older power supplies and causing those sensor pins didn't have anything to tell it like, hey, this is this certain wattage power supply, so don't pull this much or whatever. So they were just pulling however much from the power supplies, and melting the pin, not the whole GPU. Sounds like I'm saying it's melting the whole GPU. It's just melting the pin, connector pin on the, which is still, I mean, melting your whole GPU in a way because then it's damaged. It's not usable at that point. All right, so we're just gonna plug all these in here. Oh yeah, definitely way better to cable manage with a modular power supply too, for sure. Although I'm gonna make things quick. I know it's ugly. This is not how I usually do things. Just for the sake of time on screen here, I do want to get this lit up for you guys. What time is it?
3:41.
Oh, we still got a lot of time actually. But yeah, usually when I'm doing orders and stuff and I'm just at my desk, I like to really take my time with cable management. It's really really therapeutic actually. I used to like hate it. But now I love it. It's like the best part. I get everything screwed in and then I just chill there and zip tie some cable together, and I don't have to keep twisting the case around and doing all this and that. I can just work on the back side, working on the cable management. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't look that bad actually for how fast I'm going here and how like much that I'm just like just tossing it together. You know, it doesn't look that bad actually. So again, we'll plug in these SATA power cables from the Infinity controller. So the Infinity controller, again, like I was saying, they should have just went with using the like 6-pin power connector, like the new controllers using. I mean, they were already there in a way using two SATA power cables. It's not going to be as much juice as a 6-pin power connector, but they were already getting there. You know, they were already reaching that, needing that in their controller anyway, so it didn't make sense for them to, um, you know, wait until they really had to add that to their controllers for their fans. Uh, but I guess they got away with that. It wasn't a bad idea. Actually, these LCD fans, you can still power them up with SATA power actually. So there is another connector you can get that comes off of the fans that goes straight to SATA instead of to a controller. But that's only recommended to just add extra juice to the 6-pin. So it's not like you wouldn't be using the controller still. You just be using that SATA to add extra juice on the other end of the um, fans, right? So one end will go to the controller, the other end will go to a SATA power, just to add extra juice if you had a lot more fans connected together. So I think it's only recommended to use 6 LCD fans on one controller. So then that's why you would add that SATA power to add more extra juice to the LCD fans. They're pretty powerful fans, right? They're not just um, some normal tech now, right? We're getting into having a screen on there, so you're gonna need more juice. It's not like the Infinity fans or fans before them. All right, cool. We'll zip tie this to here. Yeah, now with this 750 watt, I got enough cables here to deal with everything. I don't have to Frankenstein all this weird stuff together. It definitely eases the OCD when you're cable managing. I couldn't attest to that. Right? I'm just like, oh no, I don't like that cable, and like I just start losing it. So definitely, it helps me like ease that because I get to like really make it perfectly how I want it. Right. Now again, I'll plug in this CPU power cable. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. I do take pride in it too, and it's a little different for me, right? Because I'm not gonna be the only one that sees it. I know the customer is gonna eventually see it too, right? So I really like have to pay attention to the cable management. I can't just be gunning it here. But I don't think this one's for a customer anyway. So this one's just for stream and for the sake of time, you know, I get to have that freedom of just, you know, stuffing the cables, not zip tying them, doing whatever, right? Plug in this PCIe bracket finally. So I like to just get everything done before I plug this in because it kind of gets in the way of all the headers on the bottom of the motherboard there. But I finally get to plug it in. Am I not doing it correctly here? Oh, no way. This back fan's getting in the way.
I see it.
Maybe I could take off this little key. So I think the back fan ended up failing on this setup here. Yeah, it's slightly in the way. Let's see. Just ever so slightly in the way. I think we could still make it work though.
Take the fan. Plug it in.
Yeah. It's like the fourth time I've taken out this fan here. So it'll still be very tight, right? But still doable. For a second, I was like, why isn't this not plugging in? Wow, just enough space is basically living on there. They've become one. All right. Cool. Got that in. And that was where they lock in together, the two fans. That was the thing that was stopping it. Took that out there. Got the CPU cable in there. Finally get to get this back on. Yeah, so the radiator's on the top. And actually the power connector of this fan is touching the fans on the radiator here. And then this fan is also touching the PCIe bracket. So this case is very compact. I actually don't recommend even having a fan back here if you're gonna have a radiator. I just wanted to include that one so we could see the screen here. But yeah, it's too tight there to actually do that if you're gonna build with this case. If you find some fans that are slimmer, you could fit a fan back here. There are a lot of fans that are slimmer on the market. So if you find something like that, yeah, then no problem, just do that, right? But if you're gonna have these thick Lee fans, yeah, definitely not gonna work out. So just kind of do your homework like that if you are gonna build in a case like this, because you want it to work out. Now let's slide this GPU in. Let me take off these brackets. It's gonna escape. Okay. Usually I have the case facing me, but for the sake of showing it off to y'all, boom. Got that in there. Screw these back on. Yeah, so you could put that fan wire on the bottom to create a little bit more space. And you're right, it wouldn't look right. You would have to like wrap it around and stuff, so it look ugly. But even then, because this fan's actually touching that bracket, there is no space at all on the bottom here. So you'd probably have to wrap it around the top.
It probably wouldn't fit because that. the bottom cable
Uh-huh.
would be hitting the bracket even more.
I think it'll be,
'Cause in the
no, it'll be on this side, so it wouldn't be
Oh,
hitting
yeah.
it, but you would just have to like just wrap it on top of it. So actually wouldn't work. And then you could just wrap around this side instead, but then it'll look ugly. You won't see this infinity side of it. Yeah, I would not recommend doing that. All right. Here, I'll show off the, or I'll flip it around actually. Show off the incredible cable management, right? um, no, that's just for the sake of time here on the stream. But hey, the front looks very pretty. And we'll plug in the 16 pin, the 12 plus 4 16 pin here. Into the graphics card for the GPU. We still call them video cards. That's still a thing. Call them video cards. All right. So that's cool. We don't have to use that little ugly adapter, right? Just straight to the ATX 3.0. Power supply there. Boom. I just want to make sure it's completely seated here. Ah. Turn it my way. All right. Yeah, that's perfect. All right, there we go. Now let's get her powered on. Hoping that there is no issues with this, or there isn't any issue um, with the LCD fans here. Hopefully they just fire up and they'll display the Lee and Lee logo, but nonetheless, I think they'll still be very sick. Well, here we got another build in the books, y'all. Always appreciate y'all for stopping in and hanging out with me here. Do you guys want me to turn this on? If you want me to turn this build on, let me know in the chat. So, came out looking pretty good now that I can see the chat here on this screen and the stream itself, and looks great. Actually, was not expecting that. All right, Skadoosh. Let's turn them on. Flip the power supply on. Power button. Oh yeah. I do see one fan on. These two fans didn't post. I'm not spinning to light. Did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Sometimes. Oh, fan's not working. Yeah, these two are not. This one's not working. This one's the screen's on, and the RGB, but
Oh, there
these
you go.
two. So that one's spinning up. I know these take time. So back in the day with the Infinity fans, you had to actually unplug the controller and then replug it, the USB, the micro USB that goes from the 2.0 to the micro on the controller to make those work. But it doesn't seem like the same case for these LCD fans. So we got that back one to work. I wonder if let me see here. So in the little manual that Leanly includes with these fans, they say not to plug these fans in on on the number one spot on the controller. They only say to plug them in on 2, 3, and 4, which I did. I had it on 3 and 4. I didn't have it on 2. I just switched it to 2. Doesn't seem to be working. So let's switch over to back to 3. And then maybe instead of going from that top part, I'm gonna go to the bottom of the fans here, because that also has a connector there. Oh, you know what? There you go. That's where they actually should be. Let me just flip this around here. So a little bit of troubleshooting. We got it done. Let me just plug it back in there. What do they see? Oh, did I? They supposed to be put the other way. Silly me. Oh, voila. Okay. Got them. No, they don't disable and buys. They actually ran through the Lee software, so L Connect 3, and there's so many different versions of L Connect 3 now. So, but yeah, they're ran through L Connect 3, not through the BIOS. I know there are BIOS settings for the USB 2.0, and it's like S4 and S5 for ERP, but those come default, like enabled. Or ERP disabled with the BIOS. So I know definitely it's not a BIOS issue. It was just me having a different using the top connector instead of the bottom one here. So um, that was the issue. But yeah, they use L Connect 3, and there are different versions of L Connect 3. Like I just mentioned, for the LCD fans themselves. So the Infinity fans use a different version of L Connect 3, but you could also use the LCD version of L Connect 3 for the Infinities, but you cannot use the Infinity version for the LCDs. So they're not cross compatible like that, just one way. But yeah, they're beautiful actually. Let's turn off the lights. Now, these fans would look very sick in a Lee case, right? So we'll do another stream with these fans in a Lee case for sure in the future. And you see how I mounted the side fan in order to have that cable routed. It actually is posting sideways. So are these. So but you can change the orientation of that in the software itself. Oh, dude, this RGB pops out way more than the Infinity Fans RGB does too now. You could see the top. I mean, the Infinity Fans are still very beautiful, right? Those top ones. But wow, the RGB on these are just way brighter and just way more. Feels like there's more individual LEDs there too. Wow, crazy. Turn it this way. I like to churn it and show y'all all the different angles here. Whew. So don't forget, we do a lot of giveaways. I think our last giveaway, there is already somebody chosen. It just hasn't been announced yet. And you can see that the bot is posting that link to the giveaway in our chat occasionally. Just look out for the new giveaway we're going to be having. Um, it'll pop up in the chat, and you can check all our socials for that too. So just keep an eye peeled for that, guys. Because we do a lot of giveaways here at VRLA, so don't forget to sign up for those. And the way to win is like explained through the giveaway page. This giveaway that we did recently, it was in collaboration with Toasters. His TikTok link is there in the chat there too. That will send you to like sign up for that giveaway. But again, that giveaway, I think he already chose somebody, he just hasn't announced it yet. But we will have a new giveaway being posted up very soon. I said that I was confident it would be posted on this stream today, but it was delayed, and it should be posted on the next stream on Friday. So we do every Friday, so once a week, every Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific time. I know a lot of y'all are around the world. Um, Different time zones and stuff, but it's going to be 2 p.m. Pacific time every Friday. Uh, Stop on by. I'm going to do a build on stream every Friday, right? This week we actually did two, so we had one on Wednesday. And if you have an order with us, you can request your build to be built on stream, right? You could request your order to be built on stream, and we will do so. That's what we did on Wednesday, and we could even do it on the Friday as well. I just wanted to showcase these LCD fans that I've been promising through all the other streams, so that's why we did that extra stream on Wednesday. But your build could be done on the Friday as well. Um, uh, four, was that 4 giveaways that we've done?
It's 4 o'clock.
Oh, 4 o'clock. Yeah, yeah, it's like 4 o'clock right here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pacific time. It's like basically four o'clock here. Um, but yeah, thank y'all for stopping in. I hope y'all had a great week. I hope you guys have a great weekend coming up. Tune in next week to catch me here on stream again. Always appreciate you guys. Thanks, Dubsta. I think this was your first time here, I think. I appreciate you for coming in, hanging out with me while I build. Um, really appreciate you. Oh, maybe this could possibly be yours, Kadoosh. I'm not sure. You can contact the customer service. That's a better question for them than it is for me. I'm not too sure. But I would have to do a lot of stress tests and stuff on your build if this is your build. So I don't think it'll be going out today if this is your build. Um, but yeah, hey, thank you, Dubsat. I'm glad you learned a lot here. I always try to explain stuff while I'm going through building and stuff, and just you could peel my mind apart if you want, ask a lot of questions. I really appreciate that. Um, but yeah, again, thank y'all for stopping in. I'm gonna sign out now, y'all. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Catch me next week. Um, really appreciate you guys. Have a good weekend, y'all. Signing out, David for VRLA.